we have said to the BPOs that the critical services, those that support the telecommunications, the banking, and the logistics and shipping, particularly those related to our operations as a country, that we will make exemptions and provisions for their operations, but those will be closely regulated. In fact, we are going to appoint one of our agencies along with the Ministry of Health to closely examine those minimum operations, because we don't want that minimum operation to be used as a guise for full operation. During the period from the 15th day of April 2020 to the 14th day of May 2020, the provisions of this paragraph shall apply to all businesses in the business process outsourcing sector. The operator of a business to which this paragraph applies shall ensure that hand washing stations or other hand sanitizing equipment are placed and maintained at the entrance of the business premises and at the entrance to every lunchroom and every recreation area at the premises, so that persons entering have the opportunity to wash or sanitize their hands before entering the premises, lunch area or recreation area, as the case may be. So now by order, by law now, all BPOs have to put in place hand sanitization stations, whether it is the use of chemical sanitization or soap and water. And it has to be at the entrance, in the lunchroom, and in the recreational area. Its employees are directed to wash or sanitize their hands before entering the business premises and before and after every lunch break and recreation break. All employees' workstation and all equipment on the business premises are sanitized before each work shift. So some have 3 shifts. Before each shift, they have to conduct a sanitization exercise. With effect from the 21st day of April 2020, each employee is provided with a headset for the use only of that employee. Currently, the headsets are, well, the users change with the shift. Now they have to provide an individual headset for each employee that only that employee uses. Temperature checks must be conducted on each employee upon the arrival of the employee for work at the beginning of the employee's shift. So before you enter the building, or before you are granted entry into the workstation area, your temperature must be checked and logged. Physical distance markers must be in place so as to manage distancing of persons at entry queues to the business premises and in all recreational spaces at the business premises. An isolation area must be established for the temporary holding of a person who becomes symptomatic while on the business premises. Every employee must wear a mask fitted to cover the nose and mouth while in the business operation area of the premises. The workstations of the employees must be situated in such a way that each employee is stationed at least 182.88 centimeters or 6 feet away from the station of other employees. No more than 10 persons are permitted to be in a recreational room, meeting room, or training room of the business at any one time. The employees coming off a work shift must exit the business premises clearly before the employees starting the next shift can enter or queue to enter the business premises. So we want a clean changeover. So you have to get one shift out of the building first before another shift can start queuing to come into the building. So there must be any mingling of the shifts. Employees with flu-like symptoms or respiratory symptoms are not permitted to come to work. Immediately on the operator becoming aware that a person at the business premises has tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus COVID-19, the business premises must be closed and the ministry with responsibility for health and wellness informed that the person has tested positive within the last 14 days. So if one of your employees tests positive and you become aware of it, they tell you, or by some other means you become aware of it, you must close the business. Yes. You need to inform the Ministry of Health and close immediately. The Ministry of Health has a protocol, so they will come, they will do their checks, and then they will determine what was the extent of the exposure. If the Ministry of Health picks up that someone in a call center who they have tested is positive, then they will inform the call center and start that protocol. But for an abundance of caution, if the operator of the call center gets information that one of their persons who work with them within the last 14 days of the knowledge of the test, then they must close the operation and inform the Ministry of Health. All right? The Ministry of Health protocol will kick in at that point, and then they will determine whether or not there is a real threat. All right? So when we say close the business, stop operation, send the staff home, ask them to stay in place until the Ministry of Health can come and make the necessary assessment. The name of every employee who fails to comply with the requirements of this paragraph must be reported to the Ministry with responsibility for health and wellness and suspended from work at the business. One of the challenges is that the employees themselves find it onerous to follow the social distancing and the other hygiene requirements. So what this does is to give the employer a process by which if an employee decides that they are not going to follow, then they must write a report, document it, suspend the person, and pass that report on to the Ministry of Health. An operator of a business to which this paragraph applies shall furnish a daily report to the Director General, that is the Director General of OPM, specifying whether the operator is in compliance with the provisions of this paragraph. So they will keep a roster of all the measures, and they will just merely tick off, we did this, we did this, we did this, the times that they have done it, supply it daily to the Director General of OPM. The Director General of OPM is named here because he is he has a specific role under the Disaster Risk Management Act. So it is a reporting role that the BPO must carry out to verify. They are going to self-verify that they are following the protocols. Of course, the Ministry of Health, separate from all of this, will come and check to make sure that they are actually doing what they say they are doing.